After the energy drink, how'd you leave that and what was the next chapter?
I was over there and we really hit, it was like the perfect storm of opportunity because we had a healthy energy drink, and that's when like Red Bull, Rockstar, Monster, 5 Hour Energy, Gatorade, Powerade, Starbucks was like everywhere. So like my pitch was very simple. I said, dude, drink this, share it with your friends and get paid.
Look at me, habibi. Dubai Jeep, let's get it. Look at me, habibi. Dubai Jeep, let's get it. Bags, expensive.
Don't touch me. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. No, I have to back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up.
Welcome to another episode of Stroke of Success podcast. It's your host, your favorite host, KB here. Today's episode is a little extra special in many, many ways. Let me give you a backstory. The gentleman sitting next to me, I came across him in a really interesting way. I was sharing my story. As most of my followers, audience know, Stroke of Success is based out of my stroke. I had a stroke that almost killed me 6 years ago. December 25th, Christmas morning. I had one baby on the way, 9 months pregnant, and then one running around, and I fell to the floor. I'm going to save the details for another time, but I was in a coma for one whole week. And finally, I got my phone after waking up and had some movement. I grabbed my phone, I'm going to IG. And this is a testament. People talk a lot of crap about social media. It depends how you use it. If you want to look at, tits and ass and hate on people, you can do that. But if you want to look at, entrepreneurs that are changing the world, that'll be more of a good thing to do. Anyways, I came across 3 people, and these 3 people have impacted my life tremendously. And if you know me, you know that I subscribe to them. I'm a supporter of these 3 people. Ed Milet, Patrick Bet-David, Sean Whalen, and of course, Alex Morton. I've been following Alex Morton for a long time. We did a few live IGs. We talked. I got to Logan, his assistant, and we've been trying to do this for a long time. The man is he's a man of his word. Alex, welcome to the show.
Hey, great to be here, man, and I appreciate all those words. And I got to say, you have the strongest. We were talking before, but you have the strongest follow-up ever. I mean, it was relentless because we were supposed to do this a couple of times in a couple different cities.
Sure,
it didn't happen for whatever, but KB kept on it, yeah. And now we're here and we're live.
Well, yes, thank you so much, Alex. From that coming from you, it's a big thing. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to me that you travel the world all the time. The fact that you took time for me here. And let's face it, I'm not a huge channel yet, but you believe in something. I appreciate you, man. Let's get into it, my friend. So where were you born?
I was born in Houston, Texas, October 21st, 1989. Houston, Texas. So Texan birth certificate, right? And then I really grew up in Columbus, Ohio. Yes. So American, born in America.
That's it. Sister. One sister?
One sister. Yep. Maddie. She lives in Las Vegas. Okay. She's does a lot of timeshare stuff, manages people older than her, does well, makes 6 figures. Great little sister. Love her to death. Yeah.
I've been following you for a long time. I know your mom and dad from social media. Like, you're very blessed to have such amazing parents. Jumping into that, like when you're 4 or 5 years old, like what were your parents doing at that time?
Yeah, I mean, my earliest memories, in Houston, it was like preschool, kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, and then we went to Ohio. So my parents had a big home building company in Texas, and the story was they were making a ton of money. My mom's like, we had $100, stacks of $100, thousands of dollars in cash in kitchen cabinets, and they bought like brand new Mercedes Benzes, and they were like really rocking and rolling and making a shit ton of money, right? And then I don't know what the exact year was, but the housing market crashes.
Wow.
Right? So that thing crashes. My mom's working for a company called Visible Changes. It's one of the most successful hair salons in the country, and she's from sweeping the hair on the floor to managing hairdressers, and she built that thing up to a big income as well. And the story was like she was kind of supporting the family when my dad was trying to figure out what to go do next, because they had a huge bankruptcy, and my dad is like, I'm going to figure this out. I need to figure out what to do. So we're going to try some different things. And it's funny, I've never shared this before. They actually did network marketing.
Wow.
Way back in the day, I forget the company's name, but it was like toothpaste and like mouthwash.
Okay.
And they got to like 6 figures, and then they changed their comp plan. That thing fell to hell. But long story short, they got into life insurance. And because of the success, they were given the Midwest, so we moved to Ohio. But, you know, as a little kid, I just remember seeing work ethic. Like, I have visions of my dad leaving the house at 7 a.m. in a white button-down dress shirt. Shirt was tucked in his slacks, going to the insurance office. My mom would take us to school and then go straight there. And they were busting their ass. So as a little kid, I saw mom and dad working hard on the business, on creating financial independence for the family, but also family dinner 6 nights per week. My mom cooked 6 or 7 nights per week, right? So you're right. I mean, one of my biggest secrets to my quote unquote, you know, massive success is I really was raised in a house of work ethic, positive attitude, a lot of love. And I also think today, you know, being married almost 4 years in August, I think of myself as a pretty decent husband because I saw, you know, a good solid marriage as well in the house. So very, very grateful for.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
I jumped into that exactly. But I see you and your wife named Luna.
Luna. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Beautiful. I mean,
Thank you.
You make a beautiful couple, both of you. Like, talk about that, man. Like, we saw your mom and dad getting along. I'm sure when the bankruptcy was happening, they were not always lovey-dovey. There was conflict. Was it conflict? Was it?
I was way young, man. I don't even remember.
Young.
I don't remember that. My earliest memories was that they were in the life insurance game, and it was just this hustle and this grind. There was I remember the Saturday morning leadership calls my dad would be on, and he would get like the white paper at the end of every week or month where it was like ranking everybody. So I remember seeing like Mark Morton agency at the top. A lot of the times, you know.
Life insurance system, and she was working with him too?
Yeah, so it was a Morton agency, and they had a phone room, they had the leads, and I tell people, you know, when I was in high school, my mom and my dad would pay me and my friend $7.50 an hour to go stuff like the lead gen, like green card into the white paper, into the envelope. You know, we would lick it, put it in this big ass crate, you know? So like, I kind of grew up in a life insurance office as well, and just witnessing business and leadership and hard work pays.
I have 2 young daughters. I have a 7 and a 6-year-old. Aiza and Iman. My wife is a doctor, physician. She's my business partner at the med spa. We're grinding. We're both I have a real estate business. I have the podcast. I'm traveling. And people sometimes say to me, like, hey man, like your wife and you are not giving the kids enough time. I think the kids are watching us. They were there last night at the grand opening. They cut the ribbon with us. They're watching us on the phone. They're running around. Like, what do you think about that? You think I'm doing a disservice? My wife is doing a disservice? Look at you, right?
No, because it's like, it's the whole idea of like the biggest child neglect is raising kids and telling your son and daughter, you can go be anybody you want to be and do whatever you want to go do. And then they look at you and they're like, well, Dad, why didn't you? Mom, why didn't you? So, you know, for me, like seeing is believing. You know, people do what they see, not always what mom and dad, you know, comes out of their mouth. So I think by you and your wife leading by example and showing the kids, like, we're doing this, we're doing that. I got the show. I'm traveling here. I'm doing that. I got a med spa. I'm doing real estate, right? You know, your mom's a doctor. That's obviously a big deal as well, right? So I think them seeing all of that, they're probably learning more from seeing you guys operate, coexist, and thrive together, more so than just sitting them down and, you know, just spraying words at them constantly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good to know. How are you, well, before I get into that, they say that between 0 and 7, your brain is very vulnerable. What the mom and dad say, I think I even learned it from you, if a parent talk about money won't grow on trees, money's tight, the kid is programming the subconscious. What do you think about that? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I was told that by my mentor, Bob Proctor, right? So he coached me from 2011 to him passing away in 2020. And what happened was, you know, his wife was in my first company and we met. I was making $400 a month. And then through his mentorship and me working my ass off and doing what I needed to do, you know, I became the youngest and fastest ever to make $1 million. And I didn't know how I did it. So he asked me, like, this is how the whole thing happened. He goes, why were you able to make $1 million faster than everybody else? And I couldn't answer. I said, well, I work really hard. And he said, are you the only hard worker in the company? I said, obviously no. Right? And then I said, you know, I have really good parents. And he said, you think you're the only kid in the company with, you know, a good mom and dad? I said, obviously no. She said, you don't even know how you did it. So he said, come to Toronto with me, come spend a week with me at his, the Matrix event. It was like $20,000 a ticket. I went up there for 7 days and I found out what happened to me. And it was this whole idea of my paradigm shifted and my business and my life completely changed. So you're right. When a kid is born from 0 to, some say 7, some say 9, that subconscious mind is wide open. So you're planting seeds of your kid's future from 0 to 9. So if a kid grows up in a house and mom and dad are fighting and bitching about bills, and you know there's too much month at the end of the money left over, right? And you know, turn off the lights, save money here, and do this and do that. They're growing up with a scarcity mindset. So flip side, a kid grows up in a house where it's about abundance, it's prosperity, it's about capitalism, it's about you can be who you want to be, and you know your grades don't define who you are as a person. And so it's a big deal. It is a big deal because then what happens is these kids grow up and they go to a business opportunity meeting. And, you know, within the first 5 minutes, you know, this paradigm creeps in and says, you can't do what he's doing. You can't sell houses like him. You can't do a podcast like her because you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not bright enough, right? And so the paradigm holds us back from doing everything. You know, the paradigm controls our habits, our belief systems, everything. And then you meet people in their 50s and 60s, and they're still holding on to these ideas that were given to them by their parents. Most of the ideas we have, they're not even our own ideas. They've been passed down from generation to generation to generation. That's why they say, like, in America, the average welfare recipient is 3rd generation. Why? Well, grandpa was on welfare. Daddy was on welfare. So what's the kid going to grow up and be? He's going to be on welfare. So to change the family tree, you start with the newborn kid and program these kids the right way.
That's insane. I mean, that's the issue. I think I was hearing your interview driving here. Recently you did one, and it was something like schools don't teach certain things. You were talking about that. Share that. Like, why school doesn't? Why do you think that is?
I mean, the whole system's completely screwed up. School teaches us how to be good workers,
yeah.
Right? Like Rockefeller, who created the educational system, he said, "I want a nation of workers, not thinkers."
Yeah.
And if you compare a school, a high school, to a jail, like a prison, there's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah.
The bells, the little tight, you know, seats in the cell, and lunchtime, recess, go to the playground, go to the yard. There's a lot of big comparisons there, right? So we're programming kids to do exactly what it is they're told. So then when they go through kindergarten to, you know, senior year of high school, that's 12 years. Then they go to college for 4 years, same damn thing. So that's 16 years of programming. So then when that guy or girl graduates college at 21, 22, they're ready for the workforce. So they're already conditioned to be told when to show up to work, when to eat lunch, when to go home, when to pee, when you can take your own family on vacation. And people don't think anything of it. We just accept it as normal. Well, why do you go to work? Everybody goes to work. Why do you have a job? Everybody has a job. No, they don't. Actually, no. Because the 4% of the world that are financially independent, and then the 1% that are wealthy, they own their own business, they're investors, and they create their own economy. So it's set up to fail. That's my answer. The whole system is set up to keep us broken, unhealthy. You know, like before my grandfather passed away, he was taking 18 pills a day. You know, you got big pharma, you got the school system, you know, together. And let's turn everybody into a worker ant or a worker bee in our big plantation here. That's what I think.
I agree with you. It's to control us, right? I mean, school lunch, man. I mean, looking back, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and like nothing was healthy there, right? The stuff they promote us to eat. How were you as a student?
Say that one more time.
How were you as a student? Were you a straight A student, high school, junior high?
I went to Bexley High School.
Okay.
I think we were we were like a top 100 public school in the country.
Okay.
And I went to a good school. Like I had a lot, some of my teachers were really, really good. Some of them were, trash, but I definitely learned some stuff, growing up in that school system. I made the honor roll several times. My mom said, you don't need to make the distinguished honor roll at 3.75, but the least you can do is get a 3.0.
Sure.
So most semesters I was getting a 3.0, which is, a B average.
Sure.
And I graduated high school with a 3.017. So I literally made my mom happy by 0.017. So in school, I did enough to get by. I did enough to pass my classes. My SAT score was a 1490. That wasn't very good. I had a guidance counselor tell me I'm probably going to go into a field or a profession where I'm going to be making money with my hands because I just wasn't, smart enough.
Oh,
right.
Wow.
And then I went to Arizona State. So I applied to Indiana. They told me no. Ohio State told me no. Oklahoma put me on the wait list and then they told me no. And then I applied to Arizona State and they let me in. And even there, freshman year, I'm in, the business school, trying to qualify to get into the business school. And I remember Dr. Filer was his name. And he calls me at the end of the class and he's like, you had a 63% on your macroeconomics
Don't work out.
term paper. And he, I highly advise you to drop out of business because he said, if you can't understand basic economic fundamentals, you'll never make money in the business world. So school is kind of I don't want to say a love-hate relationship. I mean, I did it because I wanted to do it. My mom has a master's degree from Pepperdine and my dad dropped out of Oklahoma University and became a millionaire. So I had conflicting
Belief system
things here, but my dad's like, make your mom happy, just graduate, but build your business, be an entrepreneur, go out there and make it happen.
So what your mom want you to do in high school, like moving forward? Doctor, lawyer, what was her
No,
aspiration?
they never pushed me on those things.
Okay.
I was an athlete growing up, so that was cool.
Okay.
It was football 4 years, started 2 years, captain senior year. I was big into tennis. That was super fun. No, they never really pushed me on different professions because here's the deal. When I was young, I got a hold of I got a hold of Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And then I found my parents' Tony Robbins audio tapes in the basement in Columbus, Ohio. I think it was called Personal Power. It was like literally cassette tapes.
Back in the day.
So I was playing these things. And it's funny now because I'm like, people say, oh, motivational. So I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm an educator and a researcher, right? But I speak. But I was listening to Tony Robbins and Zig Ziglar, no Bob Proctor yet, but I was exposed to personal development at a young age. And I knew sitting in classroom growing up, I remember listening to these teachers talk about these ideas. And I just said, this is bullshit. Like, go get a job and, 30, 40 grand a year. And I'm sitting there like, dude, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm just not. And then freshman year of college, same BS. Passing around papers of like entry level salaries and the different careers that you can do. And then they wanted us a sophomore year, hey, you're gonna do an internship this summer. And it's gonna be an unpaid intern. Somebody came up with this. Let's take college kids, let's make them our slaves, okay? Let's call it an unpaid internship, and they're gonna work for free. I remember all my friends did it. I said, dude, thank God I found network marketing. I'm like, my internship's gonna be building my business this summer. So when I graduate next year, I don't have to go do this nonsense. So I had a lot of like anger. You could probably sense it to this day. Like I had a lot of anger, frustration back then because I had so many people of authority trying to push belief systems and ideologies on me that I knew that deep down was nonsense. So I was fighting. They were like, go left, and I had to fight to go right. But thank God I had enough fortitude to break out of the matrix, I guess you could call it.
How old were you when you came across self-development? Was that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, was it Tony Robbins?
4th grade, 5th grade.
Wow.
And then I came home one day, and I had, it's funny because Trump is obviously now, Trump.
He's
but
Trump.
Donald Trump, Think Big and Kick Ass.
Yeah.
And I remember taking that book to a chemistry class, and I would put it inside of my chemistry textbook. I was just drawn to success. I was just drawn to it. Like I would like get off to reading about these stories of like my mom's mentor, his name's John McCormick. He's a big businessman in, Texas. And his story was he tried to get a loan from a bank to go start this visible changes company. And he got told no by 35 banks. And then the 36th bank or something like that lent him the money, and hundreds of millions of dollars later, and lives impacted. So for some reason, I wasn't in business as a young kid, but I was so excited about reading these stories and hearing these Richard Branson and Mark Cuban and Trump. I was just like, wow, this is just so interesting to me. Like being your own boss and building your own thing, and obviously becoming a millionaire, right? So I was so drawn to it, and I look back, I was emitting these vibrational frequencies out into the universe, and eventually I attracted, first it was real estate, residential real estate, and then it was the direct selling industry, and the rest is history.
So many angles I could take here. So let's get back to self-development. So junior high school, you get into self-development. Your dad he's a big proponent of Tony Robbins, right? He go to his shows?
So my mom worked for a short period of time for Tony.
Okay.
And Tony is actually still friends to this day with my mom's first, or I guess biggest mentor in the business world. So that was kind of the connection there. But I remember the Zig Ziglar tapes and the different things going off in the office and in the house. Yeah, it was all personal development.
Were you, in your circle of friends, were you the only one so pro-business, such entrepreneurial spirit?
I mean, growing up, I had friends, and we talked about businesses, and we started when it snowed outside, we'd go door to door and get $20 to go shovel driveways. And then in the fall, when the leaves fell, did the same thing, raked the leaves, put them in bags, and for $20 a driveway. So I had friends that were into making money, but I was definitely the most, I guess you could say, the depth of vision of it. Like growing up in a small town, 2 pizza shops, 2 ice cream parlors, Friday night football, the whole town went to the game. It was an amazing childhood. It really was.
Good memories.
I love I think Bexley, Ohio is a phenomenal place to be.
Yeah.
But I wanted more.
Yeah.
I wanted more.
Talk about your college entrepreneurial. There's a magazine written on you, I think Rolling Stone or something.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that experience. Everyone, when you Google your name, that pops up.
Yeah. Well, freshman year, I have memories of sitting in the dorm room. My dorm room, what do you call him? Roommate was this kid named Phil Woody.
Okay.
And he was there. They gave him a free scholarship because he came from a Native American land. They gave him a laptop and all this kind of stuff. And it's funny because he was just smoking peyote every night. He actually got kicked out after the first semester, which is just hysterical, I guess. I don't know how funny it is, but that was going on over there.
Okay.
And then I remember sitting on my old school, Mac.
Yeah.
Like the old white one, the heavy ass Mac. And I remember searching business ideas. And I was this close one night at 18. I was going to buy a snow cone machine maker because Arizona State's hotter than hell. Tempe, Arizona, 115 degrees out. I'm like, dude, I'm going to sell snow cones to the students on campus. So I came up, I actually made a logo for this called Sun Devil Shaved Ice. And I was going to have girls selling snow cones on campus. Thank God somebody talked me out of that because the on eBay it was $5,000 for this ice cream truck deal. And then my genius idea was I was going to start a cleaning company called Sexy Sun Devil Cleaning. True story. So I was going to recruit all these girls to go clean guys' condos in underwear, I guess, or whatever. And my dad actually said, it's a decent idea, man, but if anything happens to one of those girls, you're probably going to go to prison. Yes. So he said, don't do that. So what's my point? At 18, I was in school taking a full course load, but I was trying to figure out ways to make money because I just couldn't stand the stuff they were telling me in these classrooms. And then that led into me getting my real estate license. My mom called me one day, it was sophomore year, or it might have been freshman year, and she said, turn on Bravo TV. I said, okay. I turn it on. It's $1 million listing. And she goes, these guys remind me of you. They're young. They have nice cars. They make money. Watch the show. For some reason, I'm super into this show. The next day, I Google real estate license, this and that. And I didn't have a car. I take a taxi cab to the Real Estate Learning Center in Mesa, Arizona at 18 and apply for my real estate license. And then I go through 90 hours in person on weekends. You know, there's a story, man. I was partying my ass off Friday night. I had real estate class Saturday morning, and we were driving in the taxi cab to the real estate school at 9 a.m. I had to stop on the 101 to get out and puke my brains out on the side of the road. So I was still partying and doing all that, but I got my real estate license, started making some money with that. And then, I was just always doing something.
Yeah.
And it led me to this,
The direct marketing company, that was your entrance in direct marketing. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I'm 21 years old. February 11th, I think, is when I signed up. But this guy said, "I'm in this company. I talked to your dad about it, and he doesn't want to do it. But he said he's got a son, goes to ASU, wants to be a millionaire, doesn't like school. Let me show you this deal." And I blew him off, I think, 8 or 9 times. And this guy drove San Diego to Tempe. Wow. San Diego, he did like 8 or 9 times. And the way he got me to finally look, he said, "I've got tickets to the Phoenix Suns game tonight." Because the product was the official energy drink of the Phoenix Suns. So he said, you can bring some friends to the Phoenix Suns game tonight. I said, "Dude, I'm in there." So I go to the Verve Lounge, I sit down, and I say no to the business, like I said, a half a dozen times. And then February 11th, 2011, I go to the home office in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I walk into a room. I'm 21, and I meet a 25-year-old in the company. And he's wearing a diamond Breitling watch. He has a Louis Vuitton backpack, and he's with like some Houston Rocket cheerleaders or something, whatever, right? And I'm like, shit, this is interesting.
Dope.
And he goes, "I'm making 10 grand a week."
Back then.
And I said, "What?"
A lot of money.
Yeah, he said, "Yeah, I'm making 10 grand a week." I said, "With this?" He said, "Yeah, I'll help you do it." I signed up on the spot, so it took me to see another person that was in my relative same age for me to say, okay, if he can do it, I can do it. Anybody watching this right now, the only prerequisite you need is to see another human doing something you want to be doing. And if they can do it, you have to know, so can you. Because that's the truth. So I got in that company and I sucked at first. Didn't know what I was doing. Didn't want to be coachable and teachable. But I eventually figured it out. And my second year made 6 figures. And then it was off to the races.
By the way, that's how February 11th, I think, right about tomorrow.
Wow.
It's about 10th, right? So it's about 10th today, right? It's like 12 years ago?
Yeah, so 2011. This is 2024.
Wow,
so that's 13 year anniversary of being in network marketing is tomorrow.
There you go, folks. 13 years. I got, boom, awesome. Network marketing, man, bad rep for some people.
Yeah, for sure.
Patrick Bet-David ago, one of my mentors, coaches, I look up to him. He gets a lot. Ed Milet gets a lot. Why do you think so?
People are ignorant, number one. People don't know that they don't know. And also, there's a lot of people in the industry, and some of these people don't do it the right way. They tell people you're going to get rich overnight. It's a get rich quick, and it's not.
No.
It took me 13 years to get to this point, and it was anything but quick. But people are ignorant, Keller Williams, you recruit an agent, you make money on their agent.
100%.
Every insurance company on the planet
Does that.
is a business model of. I spoke last weekend, and it was there. I was breaking down what they do. They paid me to speak and train their people. Why? Because it's the same fundamentals, principles, mindsets, belief systems, and skills you need to go win in insurance as it is in network marketing. The product and the service can change. But if you're in a business where you're paid on commission, there's sales involved, there's marketing involved, there's leadership involved, and there's building teams involved, those same fundamentals translate into dozens of industries. So I think people that, talk shit, they just don't understand.
Do you think the government, some parts of the government is probably just hating on it and they come back hard on it?
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
The government doesn't want me. The last thing the government wants me to do is go teach 22-year-old kids how to go make more money than their parents by their 25th birthday. Because then we take them out of their system. We take them out of their factories. We take them out of we're going to pay you just enough so you don't quit. Right? So of course they don't they don't like it.
2-week vacations will give you benefits, right? You subscribe to their ecosystem pretty much. And once someone's going to come and threaten that, you're out, right?
Yeah, I mean, the government, I've always been told, you always pay your taxes, and I do. I overpay my taxes on purpose. Like literally, we made a tax payment a couple weeks ago. It doesn't matter how much it was, but it was whatever.
Yeah,
It was a lot, hundreds of thousands.
XYZ. Okay.
And I said, overpay by 50K.
Why? Share why.
Just so if there's any inkling on what maybe we should go after this guy or audit or do this, he overpaid, just let him be, and they give it back anyway on the refund. But you just don't mess with the government.
Yeah.
The biggest mafia on the planet is that. So you don't want to screw with that. But they don't like, especially our current. I don't want to get too far left over here, but
I'm with you on that.
Our current political landscape is like, they don't want anybody. Capitalism's like, it's like the
devil.
We don't want you to own a business. We don't want you to be able to over provide for your family. We want you to be over here in socialism. And it's like, I talk to people, it's like, dude, go research all the countries that have tried to push through socialism. And then we're in Miami. You talk to Uber drivers from Cuba, they're so pro anything but socialism. Communism and socialism.
They hate it.
They're so against our current administration. They're like, you Americans don't understand what that will do to you. We ran away from that, and we got people over here in America, preaching this stuff. It makes me sick. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I grew up in welfare. My mom was a single mom. My dad left at a young age. And I was kind of liking this. Oh my God, the government taking care of me. I'm from New York, and New York's very relaxed laws and liberal. Nothing against Democrats, right? It's not political, but it's like, oh my God, it's so comfortable. Like, why work hard? And it took me some time to, flip the switch, so to say. After the energy drink, how'd you leave that, and what was the next chapter?
Yeah, so I was over there, and we really hit it was like the perfect storm of opportunity because. We had a healthy energy drink, and that's when Red Bull, Rockstar, Monster, 5 Hour Energy, Gatorade, Powerade, Starbucks was everywhere. So my pitch was very simple. I said, dude, drink this, share it with your friends, and get paid. Tonight you're gonna go drink vodka Red Bull, drink vodka Verve. So that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
And we started with 4 guys at Arizona State, and then it bled into Ohio State, it bled to Michigan State, Florida State, Orlando, different UCF, and then all of a sudden, I got business in 20 countries around the world, all based around this idea of the energy drink was the product, but it was the revolution of mentality.
Yes.
You look up my old YouTube videos when I'm 21, 22, 23. I'm not up there talking about vitamins and nutrition. I'm talking about be your own boss, set your own time, set your own income, work for yourself, break free, be the one person in your family to get to 6 figures, to become a millionaire. Why not? You're young. This is the most socially connected you'll ever be in your entire life. Now's the time to really ramp it up. And we helped a lot of people make a ton of money. And the ones that didn't make a ton of money, now in present day, they're all doing really cool stuff.
Yeah.
I got so many friends that were a part of that company, didn't make any money, but now they're literally multimillionaires in every facet of industry. And I talked to them, and they're like, yeah, it's the mentality. I watched you talk at 23, I was 17, and ever since that night, I knew I could go become something more. You change the mind, you change the mentality, you change the attitude,
you change everything.
Change the life, 100%.
So I always say I'm a real estate coach in my team, and I firmly believe the skill set is one thing, but the mindset is the main thing. If you could have the last name of Trump or Morton,
yeah.
But if the mindset and the work ethic is not there, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you got to work hard.
The needle doesn't move. You just remind me of a scenario. You say, hey, the government doesn't want you as a 21, 22 young individual to teach other people to work for themselves and break the shackles. So remind me of someone else we all know, Andrew Tate.
Uh-huh.
Right? So you were kind of the Andrew Tate before the Andrew Tate.
Yeah, I like his stuff. The whole idea of working out, being healthy, providing, protecting, those are all great things. Some of his stuff the chauvinistic stuff about
I'm with
women
you.
and all that.
I'm not with
I don't
that.
subscribe to that
Me
crap.
neither. No judgment. That's
But
you.
his main principles is, you know, Tucker Carlson said everything, 95% of the things out of Andrew Tate's mouth, he said, I want my sons to listen to.
Yeah.
It's a true, I mean, he's preaching, be a man, be responsible. You know, and we have so many people getting high all day, getting drunk all night, playing video games, streaming here and there.
Porn,
and
online
their poor mother is working a job.
Yeah.
So it's like,
What are you doing?
what are we doing? Like my first big motivation, I remember I overheard a conversation. I think my parents were in the kitchen. I don't know where it was. My mom was worried about my dad's health. He thought he was having like heart attacks and stuff, but it was really like anxiety attacks as he was so stressed. So I'm hearing this like, you know, I don't know, 19, whatever I was. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to make enough money to where if they want to retire, they can just retire and relax, you know? So I think these principles that whether it's Tate or me or somebody else, they're simple. It's just guidelines. It's rules. You know, recently I've been getting into this whole like stoicism, they call it.
Yes.
I came across a couple of videos. I'm like, shit, I talk a lot about this stuff. I didn't even know this stuff existed.
Me either. You're right.
But I'm like, this is great. You know, like you do it anyway. Or if you don't feel good, don't let your emotions dictate
do it.
your day. Like yesterday was a long day for me. Today's a long day for me too. I did cardio this morning. I was up late working. I went to the barber before this. You know, after this, I got to go, you know, weight train. I have more calls. It's like, I could go crawl in bed after this and
watch a
sleep
movie.
and watch Netflix. I could, and that would be nice, but you have to act regardless of how you feel, you still have to act.
It's
like
fun.
success, you have to pay rent
Every day.
every day.
Do it every day. I was listening to your interview right now on the way here. Gentleman asked you about, hey, how do I become a motivational speaker? I love your answer. First of all, I'm not about motivation. The motivation is temporary, right? I mean, that was the thing in the 90s, right? Where you had, come on stage and we get motivated and let's go work out. Let's go pick up the phone, make some sales. But that can quickly come in and come and go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I tell people you still need the rah-rah. Like one of my things on stage I'm known for, I guess, right? Like I'll get people responding back to me. I'll say I, and then you'll have 10,000, I, you know. And the reason why you get them speaking back to you is they're now like releasing this energy from 100%. Themselves into the universe, right? Yeah. And then like we'll put music on and we will jump up and down and we will scream and shout.
I love
that. But you shift paradigms like that.
100%.
Like you shift the paradigm two ways. By an emotional impact, something like that. Like I walked on fire twice with Tony. Shit's real. It's funny. I'm like, oh, this is like a song and dance. Like there's no way this guy's like having people walk across fire. And I remember I went down there. It was either Chicago or Dallas. I'm with my little sister, and I'm like smelling the air. I'm like, what the hell is that? And this guy goes, dude, that's burning flesh. I'm like, this is real. This is a real fire. Like I watched a dude take hot coals out of a big raging fire and shove it on this thing of grass, and it was real. But that, you shift the paradigm doing that, or you shift the paradigm by the constant spaced repetition of information. So I do both, you know. But yeah, motivation, it's like taking a shower. You need it every single day. And when people, motivational speaker, I'm an educator because I educate. You know, I'm a teacher. Well, I mean, that's what I'm going to Europe Wednesday. I'm in 9 countries. What am I going to do? I'm teaching. Like I'm speaking and I'm teaching, right? Yeah. So you need the energy. You need the rah-rah. I really think people do need that. But it has to be backed by real information, real strategies, real blueprints, real things that have worked. You know, I tell people like what I teach and talk about, these are the things that allowed me to earn $1 million before I was 25, earn 30 before I was 30. You know, I told everybody I'm not going to talk about relationship or marriage content until our 5 years. But when I start into that, it's going to be based on, we've had a great marriage for 5 years. This is how we did it. You know, so many people out there, I want to be a speaker, but you're just talking shit off of random stuff. Like the best quote unquote speakers are people that say, hey, this is where I was, this is where I am today. And in this gap, this is what I did. This is what I thought, read, spoke, ate.
Yeah.
This is what I did. And if you do this over time, you'll win.
You'll win. Like Patrick David says, your value, you will draw your value. You have to give it time and effort, right? Man, so many ways to take this. I asked you a question on the live. It was interesting. I asked your boy Matt Rosa. I asked the same question, and he was kind of stumped, but he gave me a good answer. So I'm Muslim by faith, right? I'm a Muslim. I'm not the most religious individual. I believe in God. I'm spiritual. Law of attraction comes to my life. Law of attraction is huge. I've been a believer for 10, 15 years, and like it or not, it's there. And the question I asked you then, this is 2 years ago.
I think I remember this.
There you go. I said, hey, Alex, God, universe. If you read some of the religious posts online, either Muslim, Jewish, or Christian, no, law of attraction is wrong. You should not do law of attraction. That's devil's work. Believe in God. But you always talk about how you co-create your reality. So break it down for me and my audience. Like, am I wrong to believe in law of attraction?
Well, first, I'll say people are entitled to believe whatever they want.
Right.
You know, if there's a girl out there that her name's Danielle and she wants to be Daniel, you know what? Go for it. Like do whatever the hell you want.
Do you?
But don't teach kids this.
I agree with you.
You know, bullshit, right? But people can do whatever the hell they want. Just don't harm other people, right?
Exactly.
So I was raised Jewish, got bar mitzvah, Sunday school, believing, you know, Judaism, and then growing up, I got exposed to the law of attraction, you know, pretty much through Bob and The Secret, right? Where he was in The Secret. And I'm like, you know, I subscribe to this. This makes sense. Like, you know, your thoughts create your feelings and emotions, and then those lead you to take certain physical actions, and then your actions produce the results of your life. I'm like, okay, 2 + 2 is 4, right? And I've also been told this too. Like, I actually had somebody say this to me. Bob Proctor is the work of the devil, and he's a Satanist. I'm like, I know Bob. He was actually behind closed doors. You know, publicly he was, quote, Christian, but behind closed doors, he believes kind of like, you know, what I believe today. And so here's my answer, okay? Okay, me and you were created by the Creator. So when we say God, I'm not saying, you know, you are your own. I think there's some religions out there where they're like, you are your own God.
Yes.
We are God-like. We were created in the image of perfection and omnipresence and, you know, knowing everything, pure love, right? So when I tell people you create your own reality, I'm not saying you are your own creator and you are your own God. You're God-like. We have God-like abilities through our higher faculties, through, you know, memory, perception, reason, imagination, the will. We can use these higher faculties. You know, these are the things that separate me and you from the whole animal kingdom to create our own reality and experience. And then when I hear the word personality, it's like your personality can help you create your personal reality. So number one, I believe in God, and I am quote unquote God fearing, right? I am. But when I personally, the whole religious thing, I just have a tough time sometimes with it. I respect everybody, and I've been to churches, I've been to mosques, I've been to synagogues, I've been to everything. But for me, it's like I'm created by God. God is all-knowing and all-perfect. So I have God-like abilities in me, which means me and you, our spiritual DNA is perfect. It requires no modification or really improvement. We're already perfect. We have to become now aware of who we really are.
Wow.
And we do that by increasing our awareness, and we do that by studying us. And through our thoughts and our feelings and our actions, they give us our results. To change the results of our life, you don't go and change just the action first. You have to go back and change the thinking. So when Earl Nightingale or Napoleon Hill talk about, you know, what are you thinking about all day? You know, our thoughts are things. Our thoughts are things. You know, if you wake up and all you program yourself with is rape, murder, economy's terrible, you know, World War III,
porn.
Russia, Ukraine, porn, all this crazy shit, you're going to be at a negative vibrational frequency. And you're probably going to block your blessings and not attract the things you need in your life. But if you wake up and you're grateful, and you wake up and you're in abundance, you wake up and, you know, I tell people, wake up and think about 5 things you're super grateful for. Okay. And if you're having challenges with people in your life, spiritually send them love. Like, think about that person and just send them love. And a lot of people say, oh, it's hocus pocus, it's esoterical, it's Satanism. I'm like, dude, you just don't get it, man. You just don't get it. The law of attraction is just as real as the law of gravity, right? If you drop this cup, it's going down every single time. Okay, if I think bad and negative and crap, I'm going to continue to get that in my life. But I don't think you can just think your way into becoming a multimillionaire. You still have to work. So like Grant Cardone, a friend of mine, right? Everyone knows Grant. He's like, dude, you need law of attraction. You need law of action. You need to do it right over here. But then, yeah, you better wake up and grind. You better hustle. You better do it anyway. No matter what your emotions feel like that day, you need to make those phone calls. You need to follow up. You need to go do an open house. You need to call these leads. You need to go work out. You need to do your cardio. You need to eat healthy. You need to do it anyway. But the best is combining the two. Law of attraction, law of action. And then on top of it, I'm created by God. And it's good. Every morning, I think people should wake up and get on their knees to remember how small they are in the image of God. That's my perspective and opinion. I'm not saying it's my truth. Again, people can disagree with you, whatever they want to believe. I just look at a lot of, if you Google and you look up a lot of these wars, a lot of them, millions of people have died over
innocent religious
conflict. And because of that, sometimes it's hard for me to say this one religion is right. Everybody else is wrong.
I'm with you.
There's a lot of Muslims. My wife was raised, Muslim. I'm friends, some of my brothers in Egypt, Muhammad and Mahmoud, they're Muslim, right? So what? So if Christianity's right, so every Muslim's wrong? They're all going to hell?
Or vice versa.
It's like, dude, come on. I don't know. That gets me like a little fired up because I think we should operate out of love.
I agree with you.
We should respect each other.
Yeah.
And know we're all a part of the human race.
Yeah.
That's my 3 cents on
I'm gonna
that
this is very controversial. I bet you some of my friends are not gonna like this either. Like, I don't like when I hear like, oh, we're the chosen one, and they're not.
In the growing up Jewish,
Jewish friends say the same thing.
Jews are the chosen one, and you're the chosen people. Yeah. It's like, I think we're all chosen. We're all chosen. I think we're all God's kids.
We are.
Yeah.
You are married to a beautiful girl named Luna. Where's she from?
She is Persian and Arabic.
Okay. Born Muslim.
Uh-huh.
You're Jewish.
Uh-huh.
I love it. And I love your social media, man. Like, especially the last few months, like your stance on everything, man, like make me like have a tear in my eye. But you're saying the truth, and you could easily say, you know what, I'm taking this side or this side, and you're very, very unbiased in the middle. How was your parents with you marrying a Muslim girl?
They were fine with it. I mean, they loved her from day one. To be honest, she's very, very smart, and my dad always told me like marry someone smarter than you, and that's definitely a great hack for all these 20-somethings out there, 30-somethings. Like I don't think you should marry somebody dumber than you. Sure. You're marrying down. You know what I mean? Sure. Like your future wife's body's not going to raise the children. It's going to be her. It's going to be her intellect and her emotional IQ. To be honest, let's just call it what it is. It took me some time to get there. I'm 34 now. If you asked me at 26, I couldn't even elaborate on these topics. But they loved her, man. She's a business attorney, speaks, I don't even know, over 6 or 7 languages. I mean, sharper than a tack. So my parents loved her.
That's amazing.
Day one, and the whole Jewish thing and Muslim thing. It's like, I think a lot more people agree with some of the things we're saying, yes, but they're afraid to say it. Yeah. That's my personal stance on it.
Her family, how were they with you?
Good. Good. Talked with her mom. It was during COVID. We got married.
Yeah.
So like I FaceTimed her mom.
Yeah.
Who's Persian, and parents just want the best for their kids.
I get it.
But I do know there are a lot of families that are very, very, very strict. Because I have some friends that might be Punjabi or different, and they're like, "Yo, you're not bringing a white girl to the house." And again, people can do whatever the hell they want to do. But fortunately for us, it was all, it was all love. It was all good. And listen, man, I was single in Miami for a very long time. I wasn't looking for it. She wasn't looking for it. We met in a London nightclub. No social media.
Nothing.
And I think what really did it for me is she blew me off the first time we met. And then it took some time. It was like hunting. And then, the universe and God put us together again. And then she came to Miami, and then the whole world shut down. And then 7 months later, I'm on a knee proposing, and we're married.
That's insane.
So I think when it happens, it happens. When you know, you know. And
you know.
It's been the greatest blessing of my life, for sure.
Where's her parents from? Her family?
Who's
Luna's family? Your
dad's from UAE.
Okay.
Mom's Persian, so Iran. Yeah.
So I know you from. I've been following you from your single days. You're the Vinny Chase. Entourage, something we both love, talk about, and that was my show too.
Great show.
You live in Miami. You had this beautiful penthouse. I used to watch social media. Your boys were coming over. So Vinny, you manifested the entourage lifestyle, traveling the world, private jets. Grant Cardone is the best friend. Bob Proctor as your mentor. You're a good-looking guy. Back then, man, like I'm sure living in Miami, like it was dangerous, probably.
Yeah.
Being successful.
Yeah, I mean it's fortunately I was always working a lot because I was just so focused on what I was doing. Because it's like when I was renting in the Porsche Tower, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm sitting in the sauna with some guys. I still remember these conversations. And because I'm always so curious, even to this day, like I always ask people, hey, what do you do? Where are you from? Trying to learn. And I remember just listening to some of these guys in the sauna from Brazil, like a Brazilian billionaire who their family owns banks. And this other guy like sold a tech company for $217 million from LA, and then he moved to Miami and he bounces around. So even when I was living like, quote unquote, like the dream, and it was amazing, right? But I was always hungry for that next level because I'm like, all these guys in the sauna, they own their condos. I'm paying rent. What's the gap? What's the difference? What's going on here, But yeah, and I can honestly say, because my parents scared me so much about drug usage, I never got into drugs.
That's amazing.
Like even like cocaine, which is so widespread. Like you go out here in the clubs. It's like we were out a couple nights ago, and it's like people like I hear like these guys were from France, and they're in the bathroom. You just freaking going ape shit, and it's like I just never. I don't know. I have an addictive personality, and I always just for some reason I just never wanted to like. If I like a drug, I'm gonna want to do it all the time. Like I'm addicted to like caffeine. Like I can't. I gotta have my caffeine. Like I'm addicted to working. I'm addicted to certain things. So I'm like, if I get addicted to the wrong thing here, this is gonna be a dangerous situation. So even though living in Miami, traveling a lot for business and all that, never got into the drugs, party, tequila, smoke. I still like smoking shisha and hookah and stuff, but I never was into that. Some other people's stories of like, I went on this bender and I, did perks and Xanax and heroin and all this smoke crack. It's
with alcohol.
I never did that stuff,
How about women, man? Like, I mean, you're a good looking guy. Like, dude, you're good shape. I'm sure women threw themselves at you. Being rich and young. How'd you dodge that? Discipline, you say? Or
I definitely had seasons of my life where I was,
Chapters.
A heterosexual male, having fun in his 20s. But I'll tell you, man, like I got to the point where I'll never forget it. And this wasn't even about like girls really, but I remember walking off stage in Lima, Peru, and I was making like that month I made like $800K. And I just walked off in front of 5,000 people. I took probably 1,200 selfies with random screaming people. And I remember showering and I was like crying in the shower. And I just felt so empty and lonely and just lost. And like in that moment, I realized like I was always around people, but it wasn't like there was no depth of anything. Wow. So I remember like at that moment, I'm like, okay, I would really like to find a partner eventually here. And then when I turned 30, everybody always told me when you turn 30, you're mentally, something's going to shift for you. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then I turned 30 and I don't know what the hell it was, but I turned 30 on October 21st and I started dating Luna officially October 25th.
Wow.
So, when things happen, when they happen. But I would also give a message to people watching this. It's like, if you have massive like financial goals or not even financial, just you want to make a big impact on this planet, I would not get so caught up in chasing all these different girls around. I can't imagine the single world. And like, I hear stories of most of my friends are in relationships or married, a lot of them have kids. I'm 35 this year, so a lot of them even have kids, but I hear some of these stories of like, I don't even know how you can even like, exist in this ecosystem where, there's so much of this, glorified prostitution, I guess you could say. Like OnlyFans basically made it okay for girls to just take money for sex.
100%.
So it's like, and I love America, man, but like, dude, I think one of the biggest hacks is maybe finding a girl that grew up maybe outside of this, a little bit of an insane asylum, to be honest.
That's true.
I don't know.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, as we wrap up, like, what's your vision for America? You think we can bounce back? And
I hope so. I love America, man.
Yeah, me too.
But like, I've been in 77 countries around the world, and I choose America to be my home. I know it's not perfect. I now know that our government throughout the years have done some pretty bad things. The weapons of mass destruction, murdering all these Iraqis and Afghans. Like I've met people that were in these countries,
wow,
and they were more afraid of U.S. military soldiers than they were of like the Taliban. And it pains me to even say this stuff, but like, these are the things that I've been told, right? So I know we've done a lot of dumb stuff as a government and police in the world, all this kind of stuff, but I really think we need a big change. I don't think people understand how important November is. With the madness going on at the border. And I'm not a big political guy, but
me neither.
We've let in, 12 million migrants and this and that. And there's just so much. I mean, Trump said he can't believe there hasn't been a big terrorist attack yet in America. I'm not a gun guy, but 2 months ago I went and bought a Glock 19 because I'm like a little freaked out.
A little bit.
So we'll see. I mean, I love Dubai. It's safe. If we have to go there, I guess it's not the worst case scenario, but sure. I have lots of friends in Western Europe where they say, man, the sun goes down and we don't go outside. We're scared of getting robbed. We're scared of getting attacked. This story just came out. I think it was in New York. Mm-hmm. These people beat the hell out of
That's insane.
Police officers.
Insane.
Let them go.
Let them go.
So I think it's a mess.
Yeah.
And I really try to stay away from politics, but it's like, and I don't even consider myself a Republican. I voted for Barack Obama in 2008.
Me
that's
too.
That's facts. You
Me
go
too.
look my damn thing. Oh, he's a Republican. No, I'm not a Republican, actually.
Right,
I think it's actually dumb to say you're one or the other.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think you should just think critically and say, who's going to help America more? And if you have to ask yourself that question after these last 3 years, then dude, you need to go to the brain doctor. I mean, my Lord.
I'm with you, man. That's true.
So
scary.
Republican or Democrat, dude, I don't care. I want someone that's going to put America first, not ship all of these billions all over the damn world, support wars, support potential genocides. I mean, just let's worry about we have enough problems here
in our own house.
Like go to LA, go to San Francisco,
I was there.
Dude, in Miami. I just went to Walgreens before I got here. In Miami's a pretty damn good spot. It's probably the best spot to be in.
100%.
8 dudes on the street laying there talking to themselves, looking at the sky. It's a mess, man.
I agree with you. I was in California recently too. Same thing. San Francisco. They have the department stores have like locks all over them. It's insane, man. Like living in America, in California, it's like the 5th economy in the U.S. It's sad what's happening there. And again, it's not political. It's just the reality of the times right now.
Yeah, it's common sense at this point, to be honest. So we'll see what happens. I'm an optimistic person.
Yeah.
Hopefully, things happen that needs to happen, and America can bounce back and become great again. I love this country, man. And the funny thing is, like, all Americans or immigrants, it's like, dude, we're all at some point immigrants to this land. Like my mom's side came here from Armenia, escaped the genocide by the Turks back in the day. My dad's side survived the Holocaust. They were immigrants.
Both of them.
I got no problem. I mean, dude, They come on in and be good, be a positive person,
and work hard,
contribute to the society. That's what Switzerland does. Switzerland, they don't just let anybody in.
No,
they pick and choose, and it's like if you screw up, kick them out, send them packing. And if people in America are that against the ideals that built this country, I think we should buy them a one-way ticket and let them travel out, go somewhere else.
That's true. That's true. Wow, man. What are you doing? What are you doing these days? Exactly.
Building, our main financial educational company. We've done really, really well by the grace of God, so I'm getting ready to go on tour for that in Europe, like 8 countries. And then I got my brand. I've been continually building this brand. I'm actually going to finally launch my own podcast.
That's amazing.
The Alex Morton Show.
Can't wait for that.
Hopefully end of this month,
That's awesome.
And just keep going, man. I love speaking and helping and training and serving and giving people the truth, because I just know there's so much crap out there, and people deserve to hear the truth about, success and how to win and how to go about their life. And listen, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We're all work in progress.
There you go.
But I really believe that information is one of the only things that can potentially change people's situations. So let's make sure that information is on point and give people a fighting chance.
That's amazing, my friend. Listen, just to recap, you have impacted my life in many ways, man. You're a humble dude. You respond to my DMs on IG. These days, man, people make a few bucks and they don't respond to you, and they say, "Oh, DM my manager." And this gentleman here with 1 million followers, man, you're a good dude. You're a voice we need right now.
I appreciate it.
More than ever before. You are, as successful as you are, you're humble, you're grounded. Stuff you shared today with my audience. You're on point. I look forward to a part 2 down the road, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this. This has been making for probably 6 years. So Alex, thank you for being on my show. Final words for my audience.
Yeah. If you're in a dark place right now, it's like, if you can look up, you can get up, for sure. And one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you is go out there. Whatever you want to do, there's probably somebody already doing it. Find out who they are, find out where they're from, and find out their strategy and blueprint of how they created their success. And it's like, if you say what people say and do what people do, eventually you'll get what they have. That's what I've done my entire life. And people say, it's like, people call me all these great words and these accolades, and I appreciate it. I really do. But I look myself in the mirror and I think, all I've ever done was model other people winning at whatever it is I wanted to do. And I'm still doing it today. That's what you got to do.
You can do it
right vehicle, right opportunity, unlimited earning potential somehow, some way, having the right environment, having the right people in your corner, having the right mentor, and then you have to work your ass off. Especially if people are listening and they're in their 20s, mid 30s, it's like, dude, you rather work hard now than when you got a wife and a bunch of kids and mortgage payments and car payments. It's like when it's just you, take advantage of that time and stop, vaping and bullshitting and become financially independent.
Wow. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Where can we find you?
YouTube, Alex Morton Mindset. Instagram, Alex Morton Mindset. And I got a free Telegram. I got a coaching program going on now as well. People can be a part of that. So let's win together and make the rest of 2024 the best of 2024. And I'm proud of you. I want to say I'm proud of you. Your story is inspiring. And you're a great dude, man.
Thank you, man.
So,
thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much, man. Oh, man. Thank you.
You got it.